My friend, let me share something that will ignite your spirit with faith. Today, God has not overlooked what slipped from your hands. The finances, the chances, the business, the job, the years you poured out, none of it escaped His care. What seemed stolen is not gone for good. What appeared lost never left God's reach. You may have wept, struggled, and whispered, "How can I ever rise again?" But hear this truth. When God restores what you lost, it will not return in the same form. It will come back multiplied, overflowing, and reshaped by His divine touch. Many people live defeated because they believe loss was the conclusion of their story. They think a closed door means the end, but God is the master of new beginnings. When you think it's finished, He is just unfolding the next chapter. When your account runs empty, when your plans crumble, when trusted people disappear, God is still working. He's orchestrating a comeback so extraordinary that every tear you shed will become the seed of your harvest. God never removes without intending to restore. He never allows something to break unless He plans to rebuild it greater. You might be standing in a season surrounded by emptiness, seeing only lack, but God's power is not bound by your environment. He doesn't need a system to bless you. He doesn't depend on economies to favor you. God owns it all, the silver, the gold, the land, the wealth of nations. What belongs to Him cannot be stopped by inflation, markets, or men. When He decides to bless, no earthly force can block it. And when He restores what was taken, He won't simply return it. He will multiply it, press it down, shake it together, and make it overflow. Reflect on those times you thought it was over. Remember how, in ways you couldn't explain, God made a path. He upheld you through sleepless nights, through bills that made no sense, through rejection and delay. You didn't endure by your own strength. You made it because God never left. And if He carried you before, He will do it again. If He provided then, He will provide once more. The same God who held you in the valley will raise you in the time of reward. Every loss has a reason. It may not be clear now, but God never wastes pain. Sometimes He removes what's too small for the destiny ahead. Sometimes He lets something in because it cannot thrive where He's taking you. You think you lost a business, but perhaps you lost a burden. You think you lost money, but maybe you lost manipulation. You think you lost people, but maybe you lost distractions. God never subtracts without multiplying later. Let me speak to your faith. Your presence here isn't by coincidence. God wants to awaken something within you. He's reminding you that your financial setback wasn't punishment, it was preparation. He allowed it to strip away false security so you could rediscover the true source of abundance, Him. God doesn't want you to depend on the provision. He wants you to depend on the provider. He is not finished working in your finances or your dreams. The same God who gave you the vision will also release the resources for the mission. When God restores, He doesn't simply return things as they were. He brings them back in greater glory. He multiplies what the enemy tried to reduce. The very place where you faced financial warfare will become the very place of your greatest blessing. The same hands that once struggled to cover expenses will soon carry overflow. The same place where you felt humiliated by lack will become the platform where God showcases His abundance. That's the nature of God. He transforms shame into strength, dryness into downpour, and scarcity into abundance. Deep within your spirit, believe this truth. Your loss was not a defeat, it was a divine planting. Every loss in God's hand becomes a seed of restoration. And though a seed vanishes for a season, buried and unseen, something powerful happens beneath the surface. It breaks so it can multiply. Your financial pain was never a burial. It was a preparation. God has planted your pain inside His promise, and at the appointed time, He will produce a harvest that makes you forget your years of struggle. Don't let despair tell you God is done. Don't let fear silence your hope. God is still sovereign, and His plans for you remain firm. He's seen every sleepless night, heard every quiet prayer, and noticed every moment you've stared at an empty wallet wondering, how will I survive? And right now He's saying, trust me, I'm not finished. What you lost will return multiplied. With God, no loss is permanent. The world counts success by possessions, but God counts it by trust. If you can trust Him with nothing, He can trust you with everything. Sometimes God allows an empty season so He can fill you the right way. He wants you to stop leaning on the paycheck and start standing on the promise. He wants your focus to shift from what left your hand to what's still in His. You may not understand why so much was taken. You may have done all the right things, worked hard, given generously, walked in honesty, and still faced loss. But faith is not proven in comfort. It is proven in crisis. God uses pressure to release power. You may have lost in the natural, but you are gaining in the spiritual. You might have less in your account, but you have more in your faith. And that faith will open doors money never could, because faith is the true key to divine abundance. Even now, God is aligning the unseen. He's preparing connections, organizing opportunities, and setting divine appointments. You might not perceive it yet, but every piece is moving into place. The people meant to bless you are being positioned. The favor you need is being written into someone's heart. The idea you've been waiting for is forming quietly within you. And when it all aligns, you'll look back and declare, now I understand. If I hadn't lost that, I wouldn't have gained this. You're not waiting on a miracle. Your miracle is waiting on your faith. God can accomplish in a single moment what years of effort could never produce. Yet He waits for you to believe again, to speak hope again, to expect abundance again. The enemy wants you to accept disappointment as your destiny. He wants you to whisper, I'll never bounce back, I'll just survive. But survival is not your calling. You were created to thrive. You are made for growth, for blessing, for divine increase. And now, your season of loss is about to give birth to multiplication. When God restores, He doesn't measure as men do. If you lost 1,000, He doesn't merely return 1,000. He multiplies it according to your faith and your purpose. He transforms obedience into overflow. The principle of heaven is clear. Whatever you release to God, He expands. What you hold tightly remains limited, but what you surrender in faith grows beyond expectation. So stop grieving over what's gone. Plant it. Offer it to God and declare, it was never mine, Lord. I trust you to multiply it. Some of you are about to witness divine financial turnaround so astonishing that even your doubters will be speechless. You will walk into opportunities you didn't apply for, receive blessings you didn't chase, see debts erased, and doors open not by chance, but by God's favor. When He chooses to restore, no power on earth can block it. But guard your heart from bitterness. Don't let resentment or comparison rob your harvest. Perhaps someone deceived you, betrayed you, or treated you unfairly. Release them. Leave justice to God, the righteous judge. He will balance the scales in His timing. Your assignment is to stay faithful, keep your integrity, and remain thankful, for gratitude attracts divine favor, while bitterness delays breakthrough. God's promise of multiplication is not imagination, it's a spiritual law. Look at creation. One seed can produce a forest, one drop of rain can revive a field, one act of faith can unlock a lifetime of blessings. That's the mystery of divine multiplication. If He can multiply the stars, the sands, and the breath within you, surely He can multiply what you've lost financially. You have not been forgotten. You're being positioned for overflow. This is your time to trust again. Stop saying, I've lost too much, and start declaring God is restoring everything. Speak it boldly. Proclaim it over your home, your career, your finances. God will return what I lost in multiplied form. Your words carry creative power. What you confess in faith becomes the life you experience. Speak loss and you'll live loss. Speak restoration and restoration will follow. God responds to the sound of faith. A day is coming sooner than you think when everything that was taken will return with interest. Every tear you've cried will water your harvest, and every whispered prayer will turn into shouts of victory. God won't just restore what was taken. He'll add joy, peace, and stability that wealth could never buy. And when people ask how you came back stronger, your only answer will be, God did it. I don't know how, only that He did. The world tells you to recover what was lost, but God says expect more, because His mathematics has never been addition, it's multiplication. It is multiplication, not replacement. When you put your trust in Him, your comeback will shine brighter than your setback. What was designed to destroy you will end up developing you. The very loss that humbled your spirit will become the reason you walk in divine favor and overflowing provision. So keep your faith burning strong. Don't stop planting seeds. Don't stop believing for increase. Don't stop declaring abundance over your life. Every prayer, every offering, every act of obedience is constructing the foundation for your restoration. You are far closer to breakthrough than you realize. The tide is already shifting. The same God who permitted the loss will now preside over your recovery. You are stepping into a new chapter where God rewrites your financial story with divine increase. You will not end in lack or remain in limitation. You will rise into abundance because that is who God is. He restores, He multiplies, He provides beyond measure. And when the blessing arrives, remember this season. Remember the nights of anxiety, the waiting seasons, the moments you felt unseen, not with sorrow, but with gratitude, because those very struggles were shaping your faith, and that faith drew your favor. Every valley you endured was molding your character for prosperity. Every setback was preparing the stage for divine setup. So lift your head high, stand tall, and walk boldly into what's ahead. The same God who allowed the loss is commanding the restoration. You will witness financial miracles, experience unexpected favor, and receive supernatural supply. What you thought was gone forever will return multiplied. What you feared would never come back will become the stepping stone to your next victory. Keep believing, keep moving forward. God is far from finished with your finances. He is preparing such an abundant return that one day you'll look back and say, if I hadn't lost, I would never have known how mighty my God truly is. The loss was never punishment, it was positioning. The restoration will be your testimony, and your life will stand as living proof that when God restores, He always multiplies. My friend, listen closely. There are divine moments when God removes something not to harm you, but to release you. Those financial losses that felt crushing were not punishments, they were awakenings. God was shaking you free from things that could not sustain your next season. He was uprooting you from barren ground to replant you beside rivers of abundance. Sometimes God must let your plans collapse so His greater design can prevail. You thought you were losing resources, but in truth, you were shedding restrictions. You thought a door had closed permanently, but God shut it to open one leading to overflow. His restoration is never small or subtle. When He returns what you lost, it comes with glory, with weight, with undeniable evidence of His hand. People will see your life and declare that only God could have done it, because no human strategy can produce that level of recovery. Only He can take what was broken and rebuild it stronger, take what was empty and make it overflow. Even when you lost financially, something sacred was happening unseen. God was testing and strengthening the foundation of your trust. He was asking, will you still trust me when the numbers don't make sense? Will you still believe when the supplier runs out? Will you still give when it feels like there's nothing left to offer? Because genuine faith isn't proven in plenty, it's proven in lack. It's when everything looks empty and you still choose to believe that faith becomes real. And when you endure that season, standing firm through the drought, you prepare the ground for a divine flood of blessing. Many of you are in that very stage right now, waiting, watching others move ahead while you quietly rebuild, seeing others thrive while you're still piecing things together. Don't lose heart. God's schedule is never delayed, it's deliberate. He's allowing your roots to go deep so your future abundance can remain strong. A tree with shallow roots topples easily, but one anchored by living water cannot be shaken. God is strengthening your faith so that when the overflow comes, you'll have the character to carry it. There's a reason He doesn't restore everything at once. Sudden success can break a fragile soul. Instant wealth can overwhelm an unprepared heart. So He takes His time because His love protects you from what you're not yet ready to sustain. He's not only arranging the blessing for you, He's shaping you to steward the blessing. And when your heart catches up to His purpose, when your character matches your calling, heaven's windows will open wide with blessings beyond measure. Do you know why God can restore what was lost in multiplied form? Because He governs both time and increase. He can make one season of harvest repay years of famine. He can use one divine connection to unlock countless doors. He can turn a single act of obedience into a lifetime of provision. You don't need to chase recognition, you need alignment. You don't need to strive for visibility, you need to rest in obedience. When you honor Him, He fights your battles. When you stay faithful, He transforms faithfulness into favor. Let this truth anchor your spirit. You are not regressing. What feels like loss is actually repositioning. Sometimes God removes you from the spotlight to refine you in the quiet. He allows business to slow down, finances to thin, opportunities to pause, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because what's next requires greater maturity, deeper faith, and sharper vision. When His refining is complete, you won't just recover what was lost, you'll manage it with wisdom, multiply it with purpose, and use it to uplift others. Every trial that emptied you also purified you. God allowed certain things to be stripped away so your heart could be cleansed. He doesn't pour new blessings into vessels that are still contaminated. He purifies through pain and prepares through pruning. What seems like loss is often divine clearing, God emptying your hands to fill them with something far greater. So don't curse the quiet season. Don't resent what was taken. It was His way of creating room for multiplication. When God restores, He doesn't just replace what was stolen, He repays you for the seasons you went without. That's divine justice. The law of God's restoration is this: when you lose something in obedience or when it's taken unjustly, He is bound by His promise to return it multiplied. Your losses were never truly losses. They were seeds sown for a greater harvest. Every tear, every restless night, every unseen sacrifice has been counted. Nothing offered in faith ever goes unnoticed. God keeps perfect records, and in His timing, He will balance every account. Some of you have been saying, I don't see any results. I prayed, I believed, but nothing is changing. Yet remember this: just because you can't see the roots doesn't mean the tree isn't growing. The strongest growth happens underground. Before fruit ever appears, roots must anchor deep. You may not see movement, but beneath the surface, God is securing your foundation so that when increase arrives, it won't collapse. Don't be deceived by silence. God often works best in hidden seasons. When it seems still, that's when He's moving the most. He's arranging divine opportunities behind closed doors, placing your name in conversations you haven't entered, and setting up blessings that will leave you astonished. And when the time is right, He will reveal it openly. When God multiplies what was lost, it's never only about money, it's about mission. He restores so you can become a vessel of generosity. He increases you so you can impact others. When God gives more, it's not for storage, but for stewardship. Because divine wealth is never selfish, it's strategic. He blesses you so you can be a blessing. The more you release, the more He entrusts to you. The moment your purpose aligns with giving, the flow never stops. Let this truth strengthen you. Faith is not an emotion, it's a decision. It's standing firm when evidence is absent. It's thanking God for provision before it arrives. Faith doesn't wait for proof, it produces proof. The instant you choose to believe God for restoration, you activate heaven's law of multiplication. That's when divine favor responds. God never abandons a faithful heart to permanent lack. Your temporary hardship isn't defeat, it's the doorway to supernatural intervention. Those who witnessed your fall will witness your rise. They'll see the same God who allowed loss manifest abundance before their eyes. Your story isn't finished, it's being rewritten with divine purpose, every word glorifying His faithfulness. Even as the world trembles, economies fail, markets collapse, systems break, God's economy remains unshaken. He's not limited by budgets, banks, or borders. He can draw rivers from dry deserts, send provision through unlikely means, and raise helpers from unseen places. And when He restores, it becomes undeniable it wasn't luck, strategy, or skill. It was divine favor. God is teaching you to depend so completely on Him that even if every system fails, you'll never fear lack again. True wealth isn't the number in your account, it's the unshakable trust that God is your source. When you reach the place where your faith outweighs your reliance on income, you unlock a dimension of abundance that cannot be shaken. God doesn't merely want to bless you financially, He wants to deliver you from the grip of fear and teach you to live fully from faith, not from worry. You might not see it now, but God is training you for divine stewardship. The reason for your loss was never to destroy you, it was to develop you. You're being taught how to manage with wisdom, how to discern with clarity, and how to prioritize with purpose. You're learning that peace is more valuable than profit, that character is richer than cash flow, and that trusting God remains the most secure investment of all. Once you've embraced these lessons, God knows He can trust you with increase. Because heavenly wealth doesn't flow to those who chase it, it flows to those who can carry it well. So lift your head high and refuse to let loss define your story. You are not a casualty of circumstance. You are a vessel of divine intention. What was taken will return multiplied. The seeds of your sacrifice are ripening, and soon you'll witness the fruit of your faith, the reward of your endurance, and the overflow of God's promise. The barren ground will bloom again, the empty jar will refill, and the door that closed will give way to something far greater than you imagined. And when that moment comes, you won't just recover, you'll rise. You'll stand stronger, wiser, and more grounded in faith. You'll declare, it was worth it. The loss wounded me, but it also molded me. The struggle broke me, but it built me. And now I'm living proof that God restores better than before. Keep believing, my friend. Keep expecting. Your loss was never an ending. It was the seed of multiplication. God will return what you lost, and it will come back multiplied with meaning. When He restores, it will carry the fragrance of peace, purpose, and power. Stay faithful, stay thankful, stay ready. Because when God moves, He moves suddenly, and your season of divine return is nearer than you think. So as you stand on the edge of this new chapter, take this truth deep into your spirit. God has not forgotten you. He has not ignored your tears, your prayers, or the pain of losing what you worked so hard for. The same God who gives you breath right now holds every detail of your story. Nothing has slipped from His grasp. What was taken, delayed, or denied will one day prove that He never left you without a greater plan. This is your moment to rise again, not with fear, but with faith. Lift your gaze from what was lost and fix it on the one who restores. God isn't asking you to understand, He's asking you to trust. When you surrender your worries, your resentment, and your doubt, you create space for miracles. You allow Him to breathe new life into what seemed finished, to open doors that human effort could never unlock. Now is the time to silence the fear that whispers, "What if it never comes back?" and replace it with the declaration, "God will return it multiplied." Speak it until your heart believes it. Speak it until every doubt dissolves. Speak it until your spirit stands tall again, because your words shape the course of your destiny, and your faith draws heaven's power into motion within your life. God leans in to listen to the one who still trusts Him when everything appears lost. Look around you. The world is filled with people chasing what can disappear in an instant: status, possessions, comfort. But you, my friend, are being called to something higher. God is drawing you into a deeper walk with Him, one anchored in peace instead of panic, in gratitude instead of greed. He's teaching you to build your life on unshakable ground, to find joy in His presence, and to see wealth not as the destination, but as a tool to serve divine purpose. Don't spend another moment clinging to old pain. Release it. Place it in God's hands. Let Him heal the disappointment, the frustration, the resentment. You cannot cling to loss and expect to welcome abundance. You cannot keep replaying the past and still make space for the future. Surrender it here and now. Tell God, "I trust You to restore me. I trust You to multiply what was lost. I believe my future will outshine my past," and mean every word, because when you let go of control, divine favor begins to move. If you truly desire to see God work in your finances, your career, and your destiny, start living like His promises are already fulfilled. Start thanking Him before the blessing arrives. Start walking as one who knows increase is inevitable. Gratitude is the sound of faith, and faith is the key that unlocks restoration. God cannot ignore a heart overflowing with thanks. When you praise Him amid loss, you declare that your faith outweighs your fear. Glance back one final time, not in mourning, but in awe of how far you've come. You have endured storms that should have crushed you. You've walked through seasons that could have destroyed others. Yet here you are, standing, breathing, believing. That alone proves that God is still at work. The fact that you're still standing means your story isn't finished. You're still in His plan, and His plan always leads to increase. So move forward with courage. Step ahead with expectation. Live as one who knows God is restoring even when your eyes can't yet see it. Keep sowing good seeds. Keep speaking faith. Keep doing what's right, because every act born of belief is a seed, and your harvest is already growing beneath the surface. God will not fail you. He never has, and He never will. And when that appointed day comes, when what was lost returns multiplied, when drought turns to rain, remember to give Him the glory. Remember the sleepless nights, the whispered prayers, the voice that urged, "Keep going." That was God carrying you through. Let that memory humble and anchor you, and fill your heart with compassion for those still waiting on their breakthrough. From this day forward, let your life become living proof that loss is never final with God. Let your words breathe hope, your actions echo faith, and your heart overflow with gratitude. Walk as one who knows God restores greater than before. Stand as a witness that trusting Him is never wasted. Speak boldly that no loss is permanent when your life belongs to the one who multiplies all things. So rise up, dry your tears, take a deep breath, and believe again. The same God who saw your loss has already written your restoration. The same God who watched you struggle has already prepared your abundance. Move forward in faith, anchored in this eternal truth. When God restores what was lost, He restores it multiplied. And when He does, your spirit will know what your heart always believed, that nothing placed in God's hands is ever truly gone.